friends, so I'm back with my second Melanie Martinez track, and because of that, I'm recording this on the 11th of December, but I don't know when it's actually gonna get posted. If it happens like last time with Sippy Cup, it did get claimed, but I just kind of put in my like, hey, I think this might be fair use, just because God knows I babble enough through this thing that it certainly would not count as like a substitute for the actual video. If you wanted to watch Sippy Cup, you certainly wouldn't watch my video. You would come for the discussion, I hope. So thankfully it did get dropped. It took a few days, but it did get dropped. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with this, and we'll see when it comes up, all that stuff. Yeah, so that being said, I am really excited to check this out. Someone in the comments of my Sippy Cup video requested that I cover all of the Crybaby album, which is a concept album, just like, or like a visual concept album, just like K through 12 was, which I've seen bits of K through 12, I think. I've seen a lot of like snippets of stuff. But I have not seen any of Crybaby besides Sippy Cup that I watched before. So I do, the little I know about this is, as I mentioned last time, all I knew about Melanie Martinez is she was on The Voice, and then she had like a little girl aesthetic, and now she's like a cat fairy alien. And I don't know why, and I don't know if those things have explanations, or if it's just how it goes. She's clearly is a very like creative person when it comes to, you know, her visuals and stuff like that. So I don't know if she's like, right now, screw it, I feel like a cat alien. And you know what? Good for her. She feels like a cat fairy alien. But I will say, like, for any song I've heard of her, she does have really, really catchy choruses. The first song I ever heard of hers, as I said before, was Carousel, because it was used in the promotion of American Horror Story Freak Show. And I liked that song for a long time, never knowing it was her. And then I'd heard a couple songs of her besides that, but I'm not crazy familiar. With Sippy Cup, man, that chorus got stuck in my head for many, many days afterwards. I did end up putting that on a playlist that I listened to in my car, just because it's a pretty good song, man. With an interesting, very dark video. I like that she's not afraid to go super dark with her stuff, and we will see where it goes here with the song Crybaby. It's 6 minutes long, so I don't know if it's just the music video, or if there's like, if the concept album is almost like a movie. I'm not sure, so I'm just gonna play whatever the track is that says Crybaby official music video. So let's go. It's interesting. I have seen bits of K through 12 and remember something with bunnies. I don't know if it's a people with animal heads thing. I don't know if it's related to like, if it's supposed to be going for like an Alice in Wonderland vibe, or it's specifically bunnies. I do not know. But yeah, we've got the cut between I believe was the same woman who was playing the mother in Sippy Cup. I assume so. It was a really interesting face. And, you know, everything's all white, and she looks up her with her little gloves. It's always that kind of very vintagey vibe. And like the big pearls, and then cutting to like the soft quietness of sort of what pregnancy looks like in a still image versus the reality of like it sounded like buzzing, almost like flies, these buzzing sounds, and then like the harsh realities of the medical equipment. I will say, like, for those who don't follow me on here, know that I love horror films. One thing I really struggle with in horror films, you can skin someone alive, behead them, I'm for it, it's fine. But I can't handle medical stuff. I get really squirmy in any time someone's having surgery. Even if someone gets a shot, I'll shut my eyes in a film. But if they're having, like, you know, they're being beaten to death with their own arms, that's fine. Just don't let me see them get a shot. I'm complicated, I don't know. If we're going for rabbits being a sign of fertility and that's it, like with Easter and stuff like that. I don't know, am I thinking too much? Maybe. But even that's always, so far all the stuff I've seen of hers is like, everything's very cutesy, even down to like what the mother's like hospital gown is, the weird sort of shimmery pink thing. Everything is like cotton candy and cutesy, but then like the stick the cotton candy's on is like a baseball bat, is the best way I can describe what I've seen so far for aesthetic. That is how pregnancy goes. It's true. That's true. You got Smarties. Okay, this is not, you're supposed to stay away from this video, but I fucking want Smarties right now. I love this. Ooh, I want Smarties. Not from there.
Oh God, she's a crybaby.
The character's name is Crybaby. Okay. Okay. And I've seen, like, I think I've seen images from what I think the one video I know I for sure saw at least parts of from K through 12 was like her on a playground or something and black eyes. So again, not sure if that's like just a reoccurring image she likes to use or if there is a plot. And I guess I'll find, if I should probably just shut up and watch and I'll find out over time. But it's hard to tell because with someone like her, I can't tell if it really is like an ongoing storyline or if she just like has motifs she likes to use.
You seem to replace your brain with your heart. You take things so hard and
It hardly looked like a turkey leg. Dude, it looked like a turkey leg. Already, the musically, it sounded like Carousel, which I quite liked. I think Carousel's on this album, so I guess that makes sense. And yes, is it weird to see a grown person dressed like a baby in a crib? Sure, no shaming. But you know, clearly it's going for I feel like I should just state that it's odd because someone will be like, wow, that's odd. And I think that I've heard people are like kind of creeped out by that sometimes. Sometimes like this is not just like, oh, you know, she's being wacky or she's, as I've seen some comments say, trying to be sexy. Maybe that's what she's going for. I hope not. I think it's just like, it's a piece of art. Meet it where it's at. This is the metaphor it's going for. Just roll with it. So that's what I think anyway.
you seem to replace your brain with your heart. You take things so hard and then you fall apart. You try to explain, but before you can start, those crybaby tears come out of the dark. Someone's turning the handle to the voices in your eyes. You pour it out where everyone can see. Your heart's too big for your body. It's why you won't fit inside. You pour it out where everyone can see. They call you cry baby, but you don't fucking care. Cry baby, so you laugh through your tears. Cry baby, 'cause you don't fucking care. Tears fall to the ground, you just let them drown.
So the ongoing thing from last time with obviously the mother being an alcoholic and not super fond of her daughter. Man, yeah, those lyrics. I guess obviously could be talking about a little bit, but clearly is talking about, you know, how it feels to be an adult like that. And oh boy, yeah, I really relate to that for sure, this song, so far anyway, because growing up as a kid who I was always called, I wasn't called a crybaby, but I was called sensitive. She's very sensitive. She gets upset very easily. And, you know, looking back on it as an adult, I can identify that, like, yeah, it's because I had a severe anxiety disorder that hadn't been diagnosed. And, you know, I had ADHD that hadn't been diagnosed. And I just didn't, it was that sort of, one of the things that would cause me to have panic attacks was when I felt embarrassed or when I felt like no one could understand me. And not in the like, no one understands me, but in the like, no one could understand what I was trying to say. It would really freak me out and I would spiral and get really upset. And because I had fears like, you know, I can't have the window open. If the window's open, then like something can come and get me. Meanwhile, my dad would just be like, oh my God, Jazz, calm down. She said, he always jokingly called me Niles, which is the brother from the show Frasier from the 90s, which is like, he was very finicky and things like that. And he jokingly called me that all the time. Or stuff like, or, you know, it was always, oh, Jess, she's so sensitive about everything. She cries at everything. She gets so upset. Well, it's because I didn't know that I felt different than other people. I just thought I was bad at dealing with things. I thought that everyone felt the same things I did and had the same thought processes I did. And I couldn't figure out why no one else was upset all the time. I couldn't figure out that no one else had these constantly spiraling thoughts or thought that everyone hated them, even though I was like, they started when I've spoken pretty openly about mental health on this, and this is kind of calling for it. You know, I had my first panic attack that I can remember, and I mean, a true, like, looking back on it, that was a panic attack when I was 4. That's the first one I can recall, and it tended to come out as either crying or getting really angry. Like I was like an animal backed into a corner. I would just snap and lash out at people because like my thoughts were constantly racing and I just felt like everything was just nonstop. I had this whirlwind always going on in my head of a million different thoughts and a million different negative scenarios. And I didn't understand why everyone else walked around like it was no big, well, like they could function, and I was constantly struggling with it. I thought everyone hated me. I thought everyone was always talking about me, all these different things, even though my mom would be like, honey, you know, you're in 2nd grade, no one's talking about you. I'm like, everyone is, and no one likes me, and if I do this, everyone will stare at me. Like, it was just this paranoia all the time. And I was, yeah, anytime anyone said something, I would internalize everything so much. And, you know, there's that switching your heart where your brain should be, very much so. I took everything so personally because everything felt life or death. And I think it's sort of a crybaby, something also that like you tend to get called anytime you show any kind of emotion, anytime you show any kind of vulnerability. A lot of times for girls, but especially, you know, it's probably more often with young girls. But God forbid if a young boy would show emotions outside of what men are supposed to show when they're little, they 1000% gets labeled with that as well. And it's so detrimental because all it shows you is just like, if you are vulnerable, first it's if you tell anyone about your feelings, you're bad. Well, then it becomes, after a while, if you can't tell anyone else about your feelings and you can't handle them by yourself, then it's just if you feel anything, you're bad. Or you're a baby, or you're weak, or whatever it may be. And it's so dangerous to do to someone because it causes the worst kind of cycle. You know, I don't necessarily blame everyone. Like, for stuff like my parents, my dad was kind of just a douche sometimes. And he handled things with comedy because he was bearing his own emotions. Like, it's always a cycle kind of thing. And I did, talking about, you know, you laugh through the pain kind of thing. I became very much the, like, jokester. I think I was a really sarcastic kind of, person because it was just much easier to joke about stuff and actually, like, deal with how I felt about things. And I'm still like that to some degree, but I've gotten a lot better. But yeah, I think it takes space to kind of look back and realize, like, oh, you know, yes, sensitive, but it was sensitive because there was a lot deeper things going on that in my, you know, in my parents' defense, they weren't necessarily given the information, even though they did try to help me. You know, in the 90s, they weren't necessarily told that, like, hey, here are the signs for ADHD in girls. Hey, there's maybe something going on more. Like, she doesn't sleep ever because she's, like, has night terrors and all these different things. Maybe we should look into that. And they did try, but they weren't given a lot of great information. But anyway, all that rant to say, like, wow, I so relate to this song. And it does kind of put you in that, if you do show emotions and you are maybe sensitive, people do want to put you in this sort of position of, like, arrested development, of, like, you're not mature enough to deal with your emotions. What they really mean is you're not mature enough to ignore your emotions. And that's not a good thing. Anyway. Also, I love all her hairstyles. Her hairstyles are so cute, all of them.
You're all on your own and you lost all your friends. You told yourself that it's not you, it's them. You're one of a kind and no one understands. But those crybaby tears keep coming back again. Someone's turning the handle to the voices in your eyes. You pour it out where everyone can see. Your heart's too big for your body. That's why you won't fit inside. You pour it out where everyone can see. They call you crybaby, crybaby, but you don't fucking care.
I thought maybe the toys were coming to be her friends. They were not. Oh no, they're coming to be mean to her. When she was in her high chair and kind of hyperventilating, you saw the camera going out of focus to, as I've said in other videos, that sometimes can be a tool for putting us in the position of the main character, of like, if she's starting to kind of teeter on the verge of having kind of a breakdown, and sort of the world, you know, when you're like really upset and the world kind of melts around you and like sort of feels very far away, having everything start to become out of focus kind of helps illustrate that.
Cry baby, so you laugh through your tears. Cry baby, 'cause you don't fucking care. Tears fall to the ground, we'll just let them drown. Cry baby.
I think with the toys making fun of her at this point, doing their little jigs, their little crybaby jigs, it's like she was called out by her mother, and her mother was putting that on her. And then she's talking about friends, losing friends, things like that. And so it's like the world puts that on you, that label on you, and starts treating you that way. But then after a certain point, if that's all you hear your whole life, they don't need to be around anymore. You don't need them to put that on you. You start doing it to yourself, being alone and having like your toys being supposed to be the things of escape, suddenly turning and bullying you. You become your own bully because it's the only input you have. So if you're constantly told this is what you are, it's very, very hard to rise above that and to advocate for yourself if you're never taught to. So yeah, I think that's what they mean by having, or maybe it's just being like creepy toys, but I don't think so. I think it's meant to be like, if all you hear is crybaby, then eventually they don't even need to be there to be saying it for you to hear it. You hear it from yourself, or you hear it from even your things of safety.
Cry baby, so you laugh through your tears. Cry baby, 'cause you don't fucking care. Tears fall to the ground, we'll just let them drown. Cry baby, we'll just let them drown. Cry baby, we'll just let them drown. I look at you and I see myself, and I know you're better than anyone else. And I have the same faucet in my eyes, so your tears are mine. They call me cry baby, but I don't fucking care. Cry baby, I laugh through my tears. Cry baby, 'cause I don't fucking care. Tears fall to the ground, I just let them drown. Cry.
The faucet in your eyes, such a kind of great way to describe that. We have the same faucet in our eyes, whatever it was. That's kind of a cool sort of image to think of. And then again, I don't know if this is what she's going for, but the crying and like the giant drops, that makes me immediately think of Alice in Wonderland, where she cries and it fills the room. I don't know if there's more, if it is going for an Alice in Wonderland vibe. I'm certainly not going to catch all the references, simply because I've seen many versions of it. I've never read it. I've seen many versions of Alice in Wonderland. I don't love that story. I've tried to. I still want to do an ongoing project of trying to find versions of Alice in Wonderland I like. So far, it's only one, and it's stop motion, and it's crazy. If you like creepy imagery, go check out Jan Svankmeyer's Alice. It's probably on YouTube. It's a Czech version, but they've dubbed it in English, and it's great. She falls asleep in an attic, so everything in Wonderland is made up of things you would find in an attic. So it's like a lot of the animals are taxidermy and things like that. It's trippy, but it's very cool. That's your movie rant. It's your little movie reference of the video, as I tend to do one.
To the ground, I just let them drown. Cry, baby, cry, baby. I just let them drown. Cry, baby, cry, baby. You just let them drown. Cry, baby, cry, baby. I just let them drown. Cry, baby, cry, baby. You just let them drown.
It's so weird because when she is in the high chair and she kind of like pouts and looks upward, she looks a lot like my best friend's, one of my best friend's girlfriends, which is kind of tripping me out a little bit. Yeah, so there we go. That was Crybaby. That was interesting. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun looking at more of her stuff if you guys want me to look at more of her things, because there's a lot to kind of go through. And they're visually very captivating. I like it. It gives me vibes of, I think it's got more content, but it gives me vibes of that movie that I don't love, but kind of can't not watch, Paradise Hills. Wasn't that called Paradise Hills? Let me make sure I'm not typing or saying the wrong name. Yeah, Paradise Hills. Which is not a great movie. It's actually pretty silly, but visually and like aesthetically it feels like somewhat similar vibes. So there we go. Those are my feels on Melanie Martinez, on Crybaby, and we'll see how long it takes for this to be put up. But regardless, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.